I organized my students to take beans and blankets to the stricken casitas, cardboard casitas we call them.
And it's like you can't leave it alone, you can't let it be, you cannot not do something about it.
I had worked in soup kitchens and retirement communities and recycling centers.
So my students and I for 11 years hauled beans and blankets in a caravan of pickups every Christmas. And year after year nothing changed.
I can give donations, to all sorts of organizations and still do, but it's not enough.
I just hit this point where I was starting to feel like I'm screaming into the wind, no one's listening to me, my actions are not having an impact.
And one night I got invited to a meeting at the home of another teacher.
I was at a job fair. I was just looking for something to do. I was ready to make a change.
A guy was traveling through talking about hunger.
And I said to him, what are you doing? Are you looking for someone? Are you hiring people? What are you doing? And he said, no, I'm offering people the chance to end hunger and poverty by directly lobbying their members of Congress.
When I assumed, of course, we were going to take more beans and blankets, just even a bigger caravan, right? No way.
And we just kind of stood there and looked at each other because I felt like he'd sort of double dog dared me, take this to the next level.
For more than 25 years, Results volunteers have been using their voices to make real change in their communities and for families around the world. Results focuses on proven solutions in health, economic opportunity, education, and sustainable development, effective solutions that are little known or underfunded. Results volunteers learn to speak powerfully about these solutions. Their grassroots voices educate their communities, the media, and members of Congress. Hunger and poverty affect millions of Americans every day. 37 million people live below the poverty line. For over a decade, Results volunteers have spoken out on some of the most pressing problems facing low-income American families. Head Start is a proven preschool education program that reaches low-income families and helps their children succeed in school. Every dollar spent on programs like Head Start saves an estimated $4 in future social services, welfare, and prison costs. When Head Start's funding was threatened, Results organized one of its most successful media campaigns ever.
There were 53 journalists on that conference call. It was a huge success. Editorials started being published in newspapers across the country, calling on Congress to actually protect and strengthen the Head Start program. And that means that Head Start families will continue to get the high quality and comprehensive services that have made the program such a success.
Results was right there. They were right there with media strategies, they were right there with the right message, they were right there with a group of activists that were ready to help send that message, and that made all the difference.
Many families are only a single health emergency away from falling into poverty. 46 million Americans, including 9 million children, currently do not have health insurance. Millions more are underinsured. Results volunteers work tirelessly for affordable health care for all Americans. By lobbying Congress to maintain health safety net programs for our most vulnerable citizens, Results volunteers are helping struggling families today. By building support for healthcare for all by the year 2010, Results volunteers are reforming our healthcare system for tomorrow. In 2000, all 189 member countries of the United Nations came together to create an exciting new roadmap to end poverty, the Millennium Development Goals. Results global campaigns are actively working to achieve these goals by 2015, dramatically improving the lives of over 1.2 billion people who now struggle to survive on less than $1 a day. One of Results' greatest successes has been to focus U.S. foreign aid on effective programs that save the lives of millions of children.
When it comes to health, we so know what to do. In terms of child survival, in terms of kids, a handful of things that are still the major killers of children on the planet, which have incredibly cheap prevention or solutions.
During the 2 decades that Results and its allies lobbied for increased child survival funding, U.S. spending on these programs rose from around $120 million in the 1980s to more than $1 billion today. This citizen-driven lobbying campaign to increase child survival funding is now saving more than 3 million young lives each year. Saving children's lives is both compassionate and necessary for sustainable global development. According to the World Bank, no nation has ever reduced its population growth without first reducing infant mortality. Beginning in the mid-1980s, Results volunteers introduced Congress to this little-known and innovative way to end poverty: microcredit loans. Often less than $100, these loans enable poor families, especially women, to create small businesses. The income from these businesses is truly life-changing for many families.
To see these women taking charge of their own lives and the proud looks on their faces, since they've been able to join a banking group, what it does for women's self-esteem is just unimaginable to a person who hasn't seen it happen.
It works incredibly well. Worldwide, the average is above 95% payback rate. Most banks would really drool over the figures like that.
Largely due to the persistence and passion of Results volunteers across America, U.S. foreign aid investments in microcredit have grown to $200 million a year. When Results took on making microcredit a household word, there were less than 2 million borrowers worldwide. Microcredit will soon reach over 100 million of the world's poorest families.